I'm PunkASS from TapouT, and we're out here in San Antonio, Texas.
Cool. Hey, can you tell me a little bit about how TapouT got started?
Well, we were training in the sport, mostly jiu-jitsu, a little bit of like stand-up because I come from boxing, so we were kind of mixing it up at the time. We always liked mixed martial arts, but back then it was pretty much called NHB. They were calling it NHB, so we were training jiu-jitsu with Royce Gracie. We started right after the first UFC, me and Charles did, and we would always wear our Royce Gracie shirts around. Just proud because we trained there, and it was pretty primitive back in the time. There weren't very many schools at all. There was, it was the only school we actually knew of, and we just, people would come up to us all the time and ask, man, is that UFC stuff? And because we'd have our Gracie Jiu-Jitsu shirt on, and they wanted to know, they'd seen him in the UFC. So we thought, what if we came up with a shirt, because there was really no other brand that was recognizable inside the UFC. People were coming in blank shorts and blank tees and just going in there to fight. We thought, what if we made a shirt that would be represented, or would represent mixed martial arts, so that when you saw it on the street, you'd be like, hey man, I've seen that shirt before, but it's more of a brand, not really the UFC and not Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. It was just a brand that sat on its own, kind of like when Nike sponsors football or Quicksilver sponsors surfing. So that was the beginning. 1997, made the first shirt.
Kind of worked out as a good idea, I guess, right?
Well, now it is, but back in the day, people thought we were pretty stupid.
Did you sell? I read online. I saw your story about how you used to sell them out the back of your trunk.
I think back of the trunk is kind of like, there were a couple occasions where we actually opened the trunk and we were selling out of the back of the trunk, but actually more so it was even out of we used to have this 86 Ford van, and we paid $1,000 for it. We painted it all black. That's kind of where all of our vehicles came from, because now all of our vehicles are painted black. But it was cheap. It hid all the flaws, really. We just throw a can of black paint the rims black, we paint everything black, and throw a big TapouT sticker on the side, and we just run it, and so all of our vehicles are always black with black rims, and so we had this van that we had paid $1,000 for, and we would drive it to all these shows and just open up the back and sell right out of the back if they wouldn't let us into the show, or we pay a few $100 to set up inside the show and sell inside. Come on. Come on in. You okay? Okay.
And the you can come out. And the tradition kind of continues with now with the TapouT van, right? Can you tell me a little bit about the TapouT house with Cerrone and how y'all got involved in that?
Well, we sponsored both Leonard Garcia and Cowboy, and they came up with this concept. So it's all their idea. They came up with this concept, which is fucking genius, and to bring fighters in there to go train at Greg Jackson's and train with them, kind of follow their training regiment, and they bring in up to 10 fighters a month. And they train for a full month with them and kind of go through, and maybe some of these guys are getting ready for a fight, or they just want to step up their game, or whatever it is. But we basically sponsor the house. There's TapouT all over the house, and we're trying to get sponsorship through the whole house. I have a Champion Nutrition who's committed to redo their whole kitchen for them, and they'll do it all Champion Nutrition. And I'll bring in some other sponsors, kind of clean the house up, make it look like it's Class A, kind of like the Ultimate Fighter house, if you will. So it's just going to be sick, man. They have a great idea and a great concept, and I'm sure we're going to see more of those pop up around the world, or United States at least.
2 more questions. Can you tell me how you got your name, PunkASS?
You know what? I can't even hardly remember, where people just started calling me that. I had it tattooed on my lip, and it was kind of like, somebody called me PunkASS. At some point I had it tattooed on my lip, and it just stuck as kind of a nickname. PunkASS, and you're watching TexasFighting.com.